you're scared about in public, here's what to do so nobody can tell.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, rocking the Mavericks Nash jersey, Taz Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you. Yeah, I've got the old Nash jersey. I got these big wings here. They're huge.
Yeah, that's roomy, that one, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
pulled it out.
Nice.
But back when black jerseys were the thing, you know, I love them.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, Top Shot Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey, yo! And over yonder making the magic happen, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. That's going to get a bad rating today,
Yeah.
JD. That was a bad hello. That's a 1. What's wrong?
There's nothing wrong.
Okay, you okay?
I feel like I forgot something, but I can't figure out what it is. So.
Like an element to the show is your...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Something show related. We'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We'll find out
We'll
very
do it
soon.
together.
Very soon.
Shout out to the stream team for joining us live on YouTube. Please, if you haven't, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Hit that like button. Comment away, both in the stream team or after in the comment section below. And share the show. Go get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. I just ordered ourselves some Classic Factory mugs and hats for you boys. Mm-hmm. All right? Christmas
right.
coming early for you guys.
Oh, Santa Skeets coming through. Curious though, Skeets, you ordered the little coffee mug.
11 ounce.
11 ounces? You think that's enough?
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah,
11
I guess
ounce,
you're right.
man.
I guess you're right.
I don't need the giant 15 ounce one like you guys and Hootski does, you know? But hey.
Hey, man, he's
Enjoy
an
your
owl.
coffee
He's
how
up
you want.
all night long. Of course
right.
he needs coffee in the
That's
morning.
right. Go to nodunks.com if you want to get the Classic Factory merch or any of our No Dunks merch. Send in your questions and comments. We're always looking for your NBA Qs to nodunks@theathletic.com. You can tweet them in at NoDunksInc if you want. We're going to hit the beach a little bit later today. Mm-hmm. Some really fun questions later in this podcast. And before we get into it, looking at last night's games, obviously talking about the Nets, we did record an emergency podcast yesterday afternoon to discuss the Nets and head coach Steve Nash parting ways. 25, 30-minute podcasts. Got back here in the Classic Factory to weigh in on that in real time. So highly recommend you go check that out if you haven't already. It's up on YouTube and it's in your podcast feed. But let's get to the games, and we will start with Trey Kirby's Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine going off in the fourth quarter, 20 points, as the Bulls beat the Nets in their first game after Steve Nash. We can talk about the game. I know we'll get to Sean Marks' press conference and the fallout from everything yesterday, but what do you think about your Bulls there?
Fired coach bump is usually pretty powerful, and it was looking powerful for the Nets.
Yep.
I thought they were going to take it down, but apparently the weekday Bulls are stronger than the fired coach bump, still undefeated Monday through Friday. The Chicago Bulls are 4-0. 0-4 on the weekends.
Wow.
Amazing.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, maybe they're union. Zach LaVine did say post-game, hard work pays off, and it certainly did for him in this one. 29 points, 20 of them coming in the fourth quarter, outscored the Nets on his own. Most of his points came with DeMar DeRozan on the bench as well, which was pretty nice for the Bulls to see. It was basically all jumpers for LaVine. Some of them were miscommunications from the Nets, and he ended up with a wide-open three. That's money. But other ones, he was making nice dribble moves, step backs off his one leg, which I thought was pretty cool to see, and had the announcers getting pretty excited that he looked like he had some pop after some knee surgery over the summer. I also thought the Bulls' chaos lineup was really good. LaVine is the star of that one, but he's out there with Alex Caruso, Javonte Green, Ayo Dosunmu, and some other guy. They're going to sometimes go Derrick Jones Jr., sometimes Patrick Williams, sometimes Vucevic, but basically we're putting all of our athletes on the floor.
Yeah.
We're going to force as many turnovers as possible and run up and down the court. The Nets turned the ball over 18 times, the Bulls only 9 times. So that's really how they got it done. It was that second unit plus Zach, and then a huge explosion from LaVine in the fourth quarter.
I really hope that they never win on the weekends. Just keep winning during the week. Maybe it's the Jim Boylan vibes.
Clocking in.
Clocking in. Yeah,
There was a bad timeout last night. That's some Boylan vibes.
Oh,
yeah. Weird one by Billy Donovan. He got a fast break,
It was
Billy.
it was a 3-on-2 Bulls fast break. No, timeout.
Gotta
Slow
stop
down
that.
here.
Oh, that was strange.
Yeah, it was a little Game 5 Nick Nurse. What are you doing? What are you doing? We're up here, Nick Nurse. Anyway, the Zach LaVine part of this was so fun. He's got that hunch going. He's one of the biggest hunchers in the game. When he's hunting down his move, when he's got it really going, he's got that lean over. He can rise up out of that hunch real quick. And that one you sort of talked about where he looks like he's going into a triple jump, like he's bounding into the lane, stops on that knee that he had surgery on and was able to rise and hit shots. Yeah, it's a fun experience. And it sure looked like the Bulls brought their hard hats and we're going to, I meant the Nets brought their hard hats. We're going to outdo the Bulls in this game. It looked like they were working hard. You had Yuta Watanabe, who I think is one of the lowest paid Brooklyn Nets, but probably one of the most liked Brooklyn Nets because he's freaking working there beside Kevin Durant, working on defense, flying around. There's just not enough of those guys on the Brooklyn Nets, but it felt like they were able to pull it out. They were going to be able to pull it out, and absolutely was taken away by just great movement by the Chicago Bulls in that fourth quarter. It was really, really nice. The thing about the Brooklyn Nets is that they don't have a home court advantage. It's just such a dead arena, and you go to New York, I think it's easy for the opposing team to get up, but I think it's hard for the home team to get up in these instances. And Kevin Durant was phenomenal, and we'll get into the roster breakdown of if it can turn around with the new head coach. But beyond Kevin Durant, this was a rough game offensively for the Brooklyn Nets.
Zach LaVine definitely the closer in last night's game. DeRozan-like, I would say, but Dragic in the first half was keeping the Bulls alive. He hit 3 triples. He finished with 15 points overall. And Patrick Williams, who, a lot of Bulls fans wonder, what's he doing out there? Is he doing anything? This was one of his more complete games, which, I mean, not saying a whole lot. He finished with 12 and 7, but made some moves, was a little aggressive at times, and you knew he was there. I think that's the key part. So I thought he had a pretty decent game for Chicago as well. I'm sure you agree.
100%. Really stuffed the box score. 12 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a couple of nice blocks. He was using his body and his athleticism and his strength. He was actually bumping guys off the lane, and he was looking to shoot and looking to make plays, and the Bulls were putting him in positions where he could actually make plays as the roll man or stuff like that. So, yeah, I was encouraged to see him playing with so much force. That's not something you always get from Patrick Williams, but he's had 3 nice games in a row. Seems to be finding his rhythm here, and that would be huge for the Bulls if he can actually be a contributor this season.
So the Nets, Durant goes for 30-plus, as he sort of always does.
Yeah.
You already brought up Watanabe with real energy off the bench. Sumner, I thought, again, energy guy. He played okay in stretches there. Royce O'Neal, did he have a season high at least in points, if not career high for that guy? They hit a lot of threes, and they still lose comfortably here. And a big part of it, let's be honest, is Kyrie Irving scoring 4 points, 2 of 12 shooting. What happened here with Kyrie? Chuck said it was stress during the TNT halftime show. That's what he said.
Yeah. Chuck knows probably more than I do as far as relating to an athlete. I can't really try and do the whole body language here with Kyrie, but I guess it's possible. I can just evaluate what I see on the floor, and what I see on the floor is a bunch of guys playing well. Like you mentioned, Royce O'Neal, who they traded a first-round draft pick for. He's been balling to start this season. They just lack a big, and their third guy in Ben Simmons just can't play anywhere close to his capabilities, anywhere close to his salary structure. So that's where they're going to struggle big time. But if you're getting good Royce O'Neal, you're getting good Yuta Watanabe, who makes less than $2 million on this roster, but you can't break through because guys like Ayo Dosunmu look like the fastest player in the friggin' world playing against this Brooklyn Nets defense. He was able to he saw rim, and he would just beeline it. Those were straight line drives, top of the key, boom to the rim, because the Nets just don't have enough, even if they have a Royce O'Neal, and they don't have a lot of foot speed on the perimeter, and they don't have a lot of rim protection. So it's going to be a struggle. And getting back to Kyrie, well, what is it? Who knows? I mean, he came in and participated in the fourth quarter there a little bit, but that was a bad Kyrie game.
And Caruso's a hell of a defender, too.
Yeah.
There was nothing easy for Kyrie last night. That was, of course, that should be your game plan, obviously trying to slow him. But it was strange him not having any points in the first half. I mean, that's rare for a guy that scores 30 in his sleep.
Basically, his worst game as a net, right? It was the first time he'd had a scoreless half. He was completely taken out of the game by Ayo and by Caruso, just getting into him and kind of out-efforting Kyrie. 18 turnovers, though, for the Nets. That was bad. They were just loose and sloppy with the ball. They have not yet cared enough this season to win games, and you could tell that was the case last night.
And did you hear what Kevin Durant said about those turnovers when asked specifically about his turnovers. He's like, I'm paraphrasing, but well, yeah, I got 5 guys on me.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the ball over. That's what he said.
He had 7.
That's basically what he said. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had 20 in the first half, so he should be getting 5-teamed. But he was. And it's like you'll take your chances with anybody else besides Kevin Durant, even Kyrie Irving when he's having a bad game, because the numbers are just, they can't add up right now. The Nets can get to 60 points, no problem. The next 40, big time problems.
Yeah. And here it comes in a time where Royce O'Neal, as you said, definitely a season high.
It was a career high.
20, yeah. He is balling, and Royce O'Neal is a bit of the Chris Middleton Ferris wheel. He'll fall off at some point during the season, so it's a bad omen. Obviously, Ben Simmons is out right now, so there's not a lot of positives here for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yesterday, after we did our emergency podcast on Nash and the Nets parting ways, Sean Marks held a press conference. Any takeaways from this one here from Sean Marks?
Well, when he was asked if Ime Udoka is imminently going to be named head coach, he said, absolutely not. So he's strong with that, but I don't believe anything that comes out of any member of the organization's mouth. I can't.
Yeah.
I will not be duped again. I've been duped many a time. Steve Nash said right before James Harden was traded last year, no, he doesn't want to be dealt. He is not going to be moved.
Yep.
He got traded right away. Joe Tsai in the offseason said, we are behind our front office and our head coach. Nash, gone. Just like that. Kevin Durant said he learned about Steve Nash being fired when he woke up from his nap and he looked to his right. He said, I looked to my right, and I was shocked. Shocked!
Joker's to the left of me? TV's to the right?
To the right.
I think that's a lie, too, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying he lied about...
You saying Kevin Durant's a liar? Tell me to tweet
TV
that?
on the left? His TV's definitely on the left. No, he is absolutely lying that he was shocked. The body language you can see throughout these first 7 games before yesterday is terrible for Kevin Durant. His head is hanging. He knows that Steve Nash's head is on the chopping block. So I'm not going to believe that Sean Marks is not imminently going to hire Ime Udoka. It for sure feels like it's going to happen very soon, whoever they hire, and I think it is going to be Udoka. And the only question I have is if public pressure will get to the Nets. Do they care? Do they care that immediately people say, you're going to hire that guy with all the baggage that comes along with him? That's my question. Will public pressure have any sort of effect? Probably not. It doesn't feel like it.
I wouldn't think so with this organization.
Yeah.
If anything, they're like, oh, cool, and a different distraction from the one that's probably much more serious in Kyrie Irving and us the way we're playing. Fine. Hey, look at this crazy shiny thing over here and maybe distract us all. I don't know. We'll see. If Shams and Woj are saying it, 99.9% it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And Marks just sort of has to come up there and say, oh, no, not imminent. I'm with you. I wasn't buying that. Any takeaways from Marks? He had a lot to say, or not say, really.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Udoka stuff was interesting for sure. He's trying to leave himself a little bit of wiggle room in case there's enough public pressure, because that seems to me the only thing that would really change the minds of the Nets is if it hits them in the pocketbooks. It does send a terrible message to every woman fan of the NBA that this guy's going to be hired back to coach one of the most famous teams in the league with 2 of the most famous players right away. But I also think they are going to hire Udoka because, like you're saying, Skeets, now is the time. Now is the time to have all of the drama around your team, because we might as well just answer every possible question we have, and they are going to switch it to talking about Udoka because Kyrie Irving apparently not talking to media right now.
Yeah.
Needs to simmer down so we don't cause any fuss.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably smart business from the Nets, because when Kyrie's going to press conferences, it's going poorly, but also the guy said he was the voice for the voiceless. And now he's literally voiceless.
Yeah,
by choice.
Yeah, it's a good point that they're happy to divert your eyes to something else, because something that sort of went under the radar yesterday was Sean Marks saying, yeah, Kyrie's not talking tonight. He didn't talk yesterday as well, but because there's so much news going on with this Udoka situation, that will take the limelight off Kyrie for a while. But it is unfortunate. Kyrie once said that he wasn't going to talk to the media a couple of years ago. He said he wasn't going to do press at all that season. And then that changed, and it is unfortunate that we haven't heard from him with some sort of public apology, public acknowledgement for the posts of the anti-Semitic novel/movie that he posted. Nothing since then to acknowledge it.
My big takeaway from Mark's talking to the media yesterday was there is another parting ways statement coming very soon from this team, and it's going to be Sean Marks and the Nets parting ways.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, that's where you're going to have to go. I mean, that's the pecking order how this usually happens, right? After disappointment, it's coach first, and then it's going to be GM, and he just. Look, I didn't envy the guy having to get up there and I guess go through the motions of, no, we don't know who our coach is going to be. And, oh, yeah, no, the players didn't know that Steve Nash was going to be gone. Even though your superstar had an ultimatum during the summer of, like, it's me or him. He just had to, like, sort of lie. And he wouldn't be the first person to do that in a press conference. But he feels like the next dead man walking here that he's going to be gone. And maybe he'll be happy, too, to get out of this. Because Josiah's going to have to, I would think. Because I guess we can get into now, can the Nets salvage this season? Is Udoka capable of turning this team around? Is any other coach have the ability to get this team back into, like, a contender status this season? Or what has to happen for that to occur?
I highly, highly doubt that this Nets season can be turned around especially because where it's coming from. The last 2 years, it's only gone downhill since they won that playoff series. They were swept last year, and considering where they are now with this roster, I don't want to be hot takey, but I think the Lakers roster is better right now. I'd rather have the Lakers roster than this Nets roster, because how will it get better? Ben Simmons is literally not playing right now. And I know people want to give him time and all that, but the third highest paid player on this team, who they desperately need to be a defender and play bigger than he is, he does not look good. And I don't see it getting better anytime soon. This team is just too tiny. Nothing to trade really on this roster, I don't think, unless they blow it up.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah. I mean, then that's a different path for this team.
Yeah.
That's not salvaging the season. That's probably doing the right thing. They should have done it in the offseason.
I don't think you would bring in Udoka if that does happen to then trade Kevin Durant, right? Yeah.
And that's the weird thing. Why would you sign Udoka long term when you know that this thing can just blow up in an instant?
Right.
Kyrie can say I'm gone. Kevin Durant can say I'm gone. Well, Kyrie's not signed beyond this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you would sign a big name coach in Udoka, like, as far as the basketball goes, because they can't even win a coach bump game. They can't even win that. And they're 2-6. I don't see much improvement. They're just too tiny as far as the basketball goes. The vibes are obviously horrid. The TJ Warren's going to come back and save the day. I doubt it. I just, unless they're going to outscore teams, which they were able to last year, and they've got one of the best scorers in the game, obviously, in Kevin Durant. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with Tass. I don't think the roster, unless there's a significant change, there's no way they'll be good at defense. Maybe they can be a top 5 offensive team, maybe. I have a lot of doubts about that if you're going to be playing Claxton and Simmons big minutes, which you kind of have to if you want to have any chance on defense. But I don't think Ben Simmons is ever going to be the same kind of player that we saw before. Right. He also was never a 5 before, and now they're expecting him to be their rim deterrent, their switch guy, get in the passing lanes, push the tempo, score in transition. This is Ben Simmons. Like, he didn't play for 2 years, and now he's got to be the most important defensive player on your team. I don't think that's going to happen. Nobody on this team can rebound, so lots of extra shots for the opponents. Vooch had a huge game last night, so I don't know. I'm also a little concerned with the way that Udoka coaches, because his success with the Celtics last year is being like, these guys don't play hard. These guys are being jerks out there on the court. Basically, just calling his team out after every game until they got the message and turned it around. Yeah. Try that with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, see how it goes.
Yeah, I think Durant probably wants that, but I don't know how they're going to respond either. I have no idea. No idea.
You think Kevin Durant wants that now?
So he wants an asshole for the rest of the roster, I think. Like, I mean, he's hanging his head. He is giving it a lot. He wants some fighters beside him, some scrappers beside him.
I think Kevin Durant changes his mind every third day and goes back and forth between, I'd love just a player coach. We don't need a coach. Let's just hoop. To then you're probably right. And then it swerves the other way to like, yeah, we need guys in here that's going to fight. He loved when Nash got tossed out. Oh, there's the spirit. I just think the guy goes back and forth. But, he goes back and forth, probably his mood day to day, but he always plays hard and is always a walking bucket. So you can make that work. And then there's the whole, of course, Kyrie and what's he going to say and how he's going to act and what, the next distraction or drama that he's going to bring to a locker room. I'm with you guys. I'm not like I saw somebody in the stream team asking, define salvageable. What is like, what does that even mean for this Nets season? Get into the playoffs?
Their goals are obviously way higher.
Right.
So salvageable would mean, being a top seed, winning a playoff series, at the very least, I would say.
Who's gone next then? I think it's Sean Marks. Do you think it's Kyrie? Do you think it's wild, but could it be like, let's just trade Kevin Durant, get picks back, and get a nice haul back? Maybe wait until, Ayton can be traded from the Suns and revisit that. Maybe Masai Ujiri sneaks in there and lowball offers the Nets and gets him up to Toronto. Like, Ben Simmons? I mean, who's next? Who's gone?
Well, it should be a whole revamp of the roster, I think. But I think the odds-on favorite is Sean Marks. If Kevin Durant leaves, he's taking Utah Watanabe with him. He loves that guy. That guy plays hard beside him. I'm sure they want to redo and would love to trade back that first-round pick for Royce O'Neal or get back that first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. I think they should tear it down. Odds are Sean Marks, but to be a little different, to get a little value bet here, I'm going to go Kyrie Irving because, again, he is a free agent this offseason. You want to get something for him, you have to trade him because I don't think you want to negotiate a long-term deal. Now, maybe you can get to the offseason and say, yeah, well, you're not getting a max from somewhere else, so we'll get you on the cheap for next year, but...
No way. There's no way Kyrie Irving returns to the Nets next season.
But only if he doesn't get another offer. Where's the offer going to come from?
I do not think the Nets will be offering him a deal if he's still there at the end of this season. If he's not traded at the deadline.
I definitely think they should trade him.
Right.
But is there somebody going to be knocking on his door and saying 3 for $90?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think in the summer. I think that teams will definitely pursue Kyrie. So I think he's the next to leave, and I think it won't be until the summer.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to trade for Ben Simmons right now.
No.
And the Nets don't really have picks to attach to his contract to make a move. Kevin Durant, possibly, but the Udoka thing really throws a wrench into things because he was close with Kevin Durant on the 2020 Olympics team. Not to mention Udoka coached with the Nets earlier. He finished second in the runner-up to Kenny Atkinson, interviewing for the job with Sean Marks. So, all of these guys are connected. Sean Marks, Udoka, and Kevin Durant, which makes me think, if these three all have a previous relationship together, how is any of them going to leave? Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This could be the Nets team. And how is this going to be the Nets team for a whole season? That's weird.
Yeah, and it makes sense that they would have to stick it out because the value on their guys just ain't that high. So we'll just try and get the most out of them. Mm-hmm. Unless it's Sean Marks, which would be sort of counterproductive. Somebody else going to come in and save the day? No. Here we are.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to some other games from last night. Jimmy Butler took over late as the Heat rally past the Warriors 116-109. It was our pick'em game, which we'll get to later. But who wants to get us started on this? On Jimmy and the boys taking down the Warriors, who are, look, it's going under the radar because there's so much other shit happening in the league. But Warriors are struggling here. They can't win on the road.
They're 3-5, yeah. Only win in home games. The call that got reversed on Steph Curry was very different, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it was the right call, but Steph Curry, first call was fouled on a three-point shot.
Yep.
But then they reviewed it because Miami requested that, and it was deemed that Jimmy got a piece of the ball and then high-fived him as the three-point shot went up.
As Bill Kennedy told everybody.
Bill Kennedy told everybody Jimmy gave him a high five, so it's all good.
Steve Nash is like, oh, I'd love to coach that team.
So that was strange in the end. Also some weird calls on Jordan Poole getting called for the discontinued carry dribble. You don't see that very often in the NBA, that it's called. You see it happen in the NBA, but you don't see it called in the NBA.
Like 3 times.
Three times. Steve Kerr said, they sent an email, but I didn't check my email. It's game day. That was crazy, though. 3 carries on the same player in one game, and they were all carries. Every single one.
Yeah,
it's a carry.
It's like a cross, yep.
Even the Warriors weren't arguing afterwards. They're like, yeah, that's a carry, but everybody carries.
Yeah,
apparently
everybody
they're
does.
calling it now. So, I don't know. To me, that's a carry on November 1st and not a carry on December 1st. I hate points of emphasis. It's so dumb. We call one thing for 1 month.
Yeah.
It frustrates everybody, and then it goes away. It's the dumbest thing.
Most of the time, yeah.
But you thought the foul
was the right
overturn
call.
was the right call.
Yeah, you got to give a chance for a guy to block a ball. He blocked the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so the follow-through didn't matter. In instances where you don't block the ball and then there's a high five, that's more of a foul because you don't allow for the follow-through. But in this instance, the ball wasn't going in anyway.
I didn't think the broadcast was showing us a good replay of Jimmy actually getting the ball. Do you know, the one they kept showing was like, did he? I'm not sure. You couldn't tell. So maybe they had other angles. I assume they did, that they then determined, no, he actually got a piece of it. And then the follow-through was the high five, and we're reversing it, and the Heat had the ball. That was a big play, right? That was a 3-point game when Curry took that.
Yeah, would have tied it up at the line probably.
Great fourth quarter for the Heat to turn it on and get some buckets and get some Jimmy buckets. And Jimmy was very adamant before the game. He talked to the Athletics' Sam Amick saying, listen, we're 2-5. We have to figure out our 2 new starters. I know everyone's saying it's the same team, but we do have 2 new starters here. And listen, they got it together in the fourth quarter, and it was Jimmy time. And Jimmy could have taken more shots, even. That pass off to Gabe Vincent, not required. He could have shot that. But, yeah, you got one team trending in the other one direction, and the Warriors not being able to play defense is weird. They're just not on the same page.
Yeah, and I guess Jimmy did say that they're going to go on a 74-game win streak here, right? So.
Yeah, well, he said 75.
5-game win streak. Okay, so 74 wins
just
still
70,
to come.
Just 74 more to go.
Yeah, right, because he said they're going to be 77-5 after the slow start. Any thoughts from this one, TK?
Yeah, the Heat went zone in the fourth quarter. They outscored the Warriors 12-2 in the last 5 minutes, and they were also able to keep Duncan Robinson on the court. He hit 3 threes in the fourth quarter. The Miami Heat have to hit threes, but it can be kind of hard to keep Duncan Robinson on the court during crunch time because he's going to be a target defensively. They put him in zone. The Warriors had no idea how to attack it. So they're able to play Duncan Robinson a lot more minutes on a night when Tyler Hero wasn't around. So I thought that was pretty impressive, and it's definitely something the Warriors will see more of, forcing them to make decisions and not just letting Curry bail them out. So definitely something to keep an eye on, and the Heat are good in a zone. They're super active. Jimmy up top, Bam in the lane. That's tough to go against. Also, the Warriors' young guys, they're struggling right now. Starting lineup for Golden State, all positive. The entire bench, all negative. Miami won the bench battle, 54-37. We already talked about Poole carrying the ball. That was taking him out of rhythm for sure. He could not score really last night, but the young guys they're not doing very well for the Warriors right now. They're basically giving up the lead in every single game they play, and I think that's why they've been losing these games on the road, because the starting lineup is still great. So it's going to be weird for Steve Kerr because you want to stick with the young guys because you would love to have some of them developed come playoff time. It would be awesome if Kuminga or Wiseman could get into the rotation come playoff time. I think Moody is the only lock at this point. But you can't lose all these games in the Western Conference. The standings are going to be too tight to keep losing 3 games in a row if you're willing to just give it up with your bench. So we'll have to figure out what they're going to do because it ain't working so far for the Warriors. This 2 paths thing, it sounds great, but it's hard to develop the young guys when you're trying to win games.
Yep. The opposite sort of happening with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their starting lineup not all that great. Their bench, keeping them in games, but they lose last night. Suns win their 5th straight behind Cam Johnson, who was on fire from deep, and they beat the Wolves 116-107. This was the second game on TNT last night. I watched this one this morning. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. Anthony Edwards' frustration a little bit, talking about not being able to get to the rim and a bunch of guys always being there. He said, when I get to the rim, he said it over and over again, there's 7-footers everywhere. I'm not Giannis Antetokounmpo, he said. I can't just go over guys. And so he's got some frustrations. He was firing the 3-ball a lot. He took 10 threes in this game, in part because I think he goes into the lane and he was seeing a Jock, a Bismack in there, Landale and Bismack Biyombo, who were balling. It was interesting to see the Suns bench do the sort of the same thing as the Warriors did, allow the Wolves to come back, and then the Suns allowed Devin Booker to sit in the fourth quarter there and got back with Landry Shamet in his place and destroyed the Wolves. So this was a game that, watching it, it never felt close. The Suns team has it absolutely all together, even though the Wolves were able to come back there early in the fourth against the bench unit.
Yeah, Edwards hit a couple threes. His second one, it was a 2-point game midway through the fourth quarter, and then the Timberwolves committed 6 turnovers in their next 7 possessions. And I saw a lot of hate from Wolves fans last night on Twitter, or I guess I should say this morning when I was catching up, about D'Angelo Russell. This guy's horrible. Like, this guy is bringing nothing. And he was bad. He was a -20 in 23 minutes. He scored 5 points on 8 field goal attempts, 4 turnovers to 4 assists. But during that run, it wasn't just Russell throwing away the ball. And he had a bad one. Remember, Anthony Edwards had a sick block. Russell got it, tried to throw it ahead to a streaking Edwards, and he just threw it too far. So it was a bad turnover. But it was Karl Anthony Towns chucked the ball out of bounds. Anthony Edwards had a couple brutal turnovers himself. So collectively, they just shot the bed in terms of turning it over. And then the Suns, mainly led by Chris Paul. Like, he just okay, let's get to work here. Let's get to my spot, hit a couple jumpers, we'll end this game, along with Cam Johnson hitting 3 after 3. Timberwolves they're rough to watch. They're starters. Again, their bench is playing really well. These guys come in, they change it, they get them back in the game, and then the starters couldn't hold on to the ball last night, Trey.
The bench passes the ball, and they run and they make plays for each other. That does not happen with the starting lineup. They need a different point guard to start with. D'Angelo Russell, fine player, but not a setup man. And with 3 guys in Gobert, Towns, and Anthony Edwards, you need somebody who's going to set them up. You need a defender, setup guy at the point guard position. So wouldn't be surprised to see D'Angelo Russell go at some point. To me, it feels like Towns doesn't know where to be right now. Like his game is totally different. He's having to make space for Gobert inside. But when they try and run things out of the high post, Gobert's inside, Towns at the high post. It doesn't quite make sense. I also think the idea of being able to have any sort of a defense with Karl Anthony Towns on the court is going to be tough. Like, against the best teams, they put him in P&R or they run him around screens and you're getting a wide open shot. So against the Suns, they're able to carve him up when he's out there. I don't know. It just, Chris Finch said we've shown no growth so far.
Yeah.
It's still early in the season, but it looks like still the first game of the season for the Timberwolves. We'll see if they turn it around. It might be a next year thing when they finally get the actual perfect fitting pieces together, but I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle offensively for the entirety of the season. And then when it comes to playoff time and they're playing really good teams who can focus, they're going to have a hard time on defense as well.
And then there's no growth, not just from game to game, but from halftime into the third quarter. They are the worst third quarter team in the NBA, getting punked by an average of 7 points. So that's the worrisome part, I think. You come out of the locker room, Chris Finch has a plan for them to, the pick and rolls with D'Angelo Russell, and he gets a little bit, bogged down with the decisions because they're crowding Rudy Gobert and they're crowding the lane, and then he doesn't want to pass it, which sort of makes sense, but there is not any sort of audible. The second plan B and plan C just aren't happening on the offensive end, and Anthony Edwards is able to create out of nowhere because he's that damn good. But they're not fluid on that end whatsoever.
Final game last night, only 4 on. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 34 points to help the Thunder push their win streak to 4.
Oh baby,
that's right.
For the Thunder.
They improved to 4-3. OKC. They have a winning record for the first time since 9 games into the 2020-21 season here with that winning record. And my God, SGA for ASG. This guy, once again, amazing. 13 points in the fourth quarter, and the Thunder rallied against the Magic. They were down 15 in the second half. Just another monster game from him. Coming off the Player of the Week in week 2. We're keeping track this year. Continuing to just look honestly unstoppable. He's he has the vibe of he's got the perfect pace right now to the game and just control and tempo of a game.
Yeah.
All right, we need a score here. I'll go get us one. Don't worry. I finally missed a free throw. That was unfortunate. But otherwise, just a perfect game.
He has just rounded out his game so well. He told The Athletic's Andrew Schleck before the season that he was working on his off-ball play. He's just so smart out there. You're right.
Yeah.
Like the pacing. Okay, I've got a guy on me with a little bit of space. I'll back him in, create a little bit more space, and then I'll decide. Like, he's not rushing anything. It's sort of anti-D'Angelo Russell right now. Like, when there's space, I'll take it. And then on the defensive end, that's where I love watching him too. I mean, he's just so smart. He's playing bigger than he is. He keeps blocking shots. 2 blocks in this game for a guard, averaging 1.3 blocks. It's rarefied air. It's getting up there in the Dwayne Wade's. It's getting close to the MJ. It's a little too far away, but to have a guard be able to do what he is doing, he's not going one speed on the offensive end as we've talked about, like John Morant learning that this season. He's got it all under control, and they just got to keep playing the Magic, and they'll win 50 in a row.
It helps, yeah, for sure, who they're playing. But you would think SGA is left-handed if you watch him.
Yeah,
Go watch his highlights, and you'll be like, you would convince yourself he's left-handed because he's always going left, and he's always dribbling with his left hand. Of course, he shoots right, and teams should really start to try and shade him to his right hand, I guess, because every time he goes left, he scores. It's pretty amazing. But what do you think of SGA? I know we talked about his chances for the All-Star game earlier this week. We went through all the guards that he'll have to battle. There's 4 locks. We said Luka, Ja Morant, Curry, and Booker, and then there's 2 or 3 spots, and we think right now he's got one of them. But any thoughts from this game?
He's at the MVP table right now.
Hello?
Not a joke. He definitely is. They've won 4 straight, and look at what he did last night. Down by 1, 3:42 left. Hits a jumper, assists on a bucket from Poku, hits a jumper, assists on a 3-pointer from Lou Dort, and hits 2 free throws to seal it. You're also mentioning the defense. He was great against Franz Wagner, especially in the fourth quarter. Held him to 2 for 7, 2 turnovers. He's doing everything out there. There's no doubt about it. So, yeah, Shea's balling. And maybe it's a little bit of catching teams by surprise, but the Thunder play really, really hard, and they've got some weird-shaped guys who contribute and play on the defensive end, so they got a chance.
Oh, it was nice to have Poku going against Bol last night.
Wow. That's freaky, man.
That was crazy looking.
Yeah.
And Poku was good. 16 and 9 for him. Like a really good, hit a big 3 when this was not a blowout as we went through. That was huge. Giddy return for the Thunder. He had 10 assists, struggled shooting the ball. Jalen Williams got his first start for them. JRE, great energy. This scrappy bunch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind starting the SGA for MVP, little tag. I don't know. It won't last forever.
Yeah, okay. He'll have the week of being at the MVP table. That's fine.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good.
Because
Get you a meal.
Whoa!
Jerome's in there.
Jerome has replaced Lily in the turtleneck.
You look good in a turtleneck,
You look
Jerome.
really good, Jerome, in a turtleneck.
Yeah, you should get a turtleneck.
That's the MVP table for anyone new to the show this year, where we eat pizza and drink wine.
We got to make sure to grow up for a group dinner when Jerome comes
Yeah,
and
take a
visits.
new photo. Yeah. That's a good idea. All right, SGA's at the table. I'm happy with that. Any other thoughts on any of these games from last night, guys?
I mean, you mentioned it real quickly, but Poku versus Bol, this is honestly incredible. 16 and 9 for Poku last night, and Bol went for 13 and 12. Like, I don't know if they both had a good game on the same night at all last season.
Yeah, right.
Maybe their entire career, where they both had a great game, scored in double digits, but this happened in the same game, and they were actually matched up with each other. That looked like we were watching the NBA from 13 years from now,
yeah.
when everybody is 7 foot to 150 pounds.
I joked that it looked like the number 11 out there, just 2 stick guys balling, going against each other. Good game. Fun game there from the Magic Thunder. Go check the highlights if you haven't already. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll hit the beach to read some of your questions.
I can't deny it. I was legitimately thrilled when JD sent the ad rundown this week because Grammarly is back! Our old friend! The Classic Factory loves Grammarly because when our fall schedule fills up with activities and obligations and classics, even a small time saver can feel like a big help. Grammarly's all-in-one writing tool makes clear, concise communication easier than ever so you can be confident and efficient writing emails, reports, presentations, and even YouTube shorts. Wasn't too long ago, Grammarly dropped me an email and said I hadn't been writing lately. Step your game up. Turns out I was inadvertently logged out. So I popped in my credentials and boom! Comprehensive spelling, grammar, and punctuation suggestions, plus instant proofreading. I love you, Grammarly. Get more time in your day with confidence in your work with Grammarly. Go to Grammarly.com/NoDunks to sign up for a free account. And when you're ready to upgrade to Grammarly Premium, you can get 20% off just for being our listeners. How easy is that? That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
Are you wasting money on subscriptions? 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. I am 100% in that camp. I even set reminders on my to-do list to cancel my subscriptions, and I just ignore those reminders. It's more of a do-do list, really. It does nothing for me. If only there was a tool to cancel the subscriptions I didn't want. Well, there is. You may have heard of it. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. It tracks all of your expenses, and because of it, you will no longer waste money on subscriptions you don't even use. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, when the actual total is closer to $200. I know that affects me. That's right, you could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money takes care of that. Well, how does it work, Tass? Well, here you go. The app shows all of your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you still don't want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/nodunks. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/nodunks. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/nodunks.
Back in the Classic Factory, Jules here in the stream team says, I'm a book editor, so that No Dunks Grammarly subscription was nice for me. All right, Jules. And Jules is a Nets fan, too, so apologies.
Thanks for sticking around
yes.
for the ad break.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's hit the beach, baby! Steppin' on the beach. The only place to read your emails and your tweets. Send them in. NoDunks@theathletic.com or tweet them in at NoDunksInc. That's INC on the end, because we're incorporated. First one.
Are we?
I'm not sure. Hey, No Dunkerinos. My girlfriend and I live in London and are visiting New York in December for 5 days. We have never been to an NBA game and are super excited. My question to you guys is, which game should we try and get tickets for? Nets versus the Celtics on Sunday, December 4th? Or Knicks versus the Hawks on Wednesday, December 7th? Initially, I thought it was a no-brainer. A chance to see Katie and Tatum would be incredible, but the more I think about it, Madison Square Garden is the mecca of basketball, and the atmosphere will surely be better, especially with the recent rivalry between Trey and the Knicks. We only have a few days in New York, so going to both games isn't really an option. Turnip, turkey thighs, blossom. That's from Daniel all the way over in Ireland.
I love this. This is great. It's almost a year to the day. It's basically 13 and a half months, 12 and a half months, sorry, to the day where we got a very, 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 very similar email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to New York in February of last season. The Knicks and the Nets were playing on the same day. So he had to make a decision. Do I go see the Knicks versus OKC, or do I go see the Nets host the Kings?
Oh, I remember this.
Yes.
I remember what I was arguing for.
Yeah.
You
What
go
was
to
it?
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
And I think it ended up being the correct answer.
The correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They played an OT game versus OKC.
Right.
Yeah, OKC was balling.
Yeah.
Some giddy performances out there. While the Nets hosted the Kings, no Kyrie, no Durant. And that's why I said the Nets last year
yeah, you
as
did.
well, but this is what you have no choice now. You got no choice. you have to go to the Knicks, or else you're going to see a game without an atmosphere, as we've talked about with the Brooklyn Nets earlier in this show.
There is that.
You don't know if any of those guys will be playing.
No.
You don't know what the team is going to be comprised of. At least with the Knicks, you know that you're going to get, a decent performance. You're going to get the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you're going to get Trae Young, who is actually going to Madison Square Garden tonight. The Hawks play in Madison Square tonight. So get a little preview tonight before you click and make your decision. You got it. Got to go.
And get those December 7th tickets, eh? Well, what about the Udoka factor of this all?
What?
Celtics taking on their old coach? Possibility on December 4th? You don't think they'd get up for that? This guy was such a hard ass on us, man.
Daniel loves coaches.
Yeah, he does.
He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves a coaching revenge game. Tass is right though. Like, this was a discussion last year. We really had a debate last year. It was between two kind of stinky games. Couple stinkerooskies here. These are a better choice of games, no doubt about it. But there's no way you're going to Nets versus Celtics. Come on, Daniel. Just go see the Knicks versus the Hawks.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
You absolutely should, especially if you have never been to Madison Square Garden. You will not be telling all your friends back home in Ireland about going to the Barclays Center. I can assure you that.
Great food options.
All right.
Great food options in the
Jules.
Barclays Center.
Sorry, Jules.
It's I can't believe I argued for Nets Kings last year over the Knicks game. against OKC, and now it's Nets-Celtics, a team that went to the NBA Finals, and it's an easy decision to pick the Knicks versus the Hawks. That's how far things have fallen.
Was that the podcast where you were going on and on about the acoustics in the Barclays Center? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was one of many.
Oh, one of many.
Yeah, because I love the acoustics. Or I hate them. Actually, I hate them. Yeah, I decided I hate them. They're too good.
That's a reason to go to Barclays, to get your own opinion with your own ears.
Go see a concert. That's what the acoustics are meant for. While you're in New York, here's your decision. Knicks versus Hawks and Lady Gaga
at the Barclays.
At the Barclays.
All right.
Cool.
He's there for a week. Yeah, you got a lot of time. All right, we settled that. You're going to MSG. Get your tickets. Next one here from Ryan. Ayo, basketball sickos. My cousin recently had a baby and named him Grayson. I've taken to calling him Little Grayson Allen. And we are both Bulls fans, and he hates it. I think. I guess that I'll stop doing it to be nice, but anyway, the question is, do you guys have any stories of nicknames that you knew the person absolutely hated, but continued to say it anyway? It's from Ryan. I mean, that is a little...
Grayson Allen.
Yeah, that's low, especially being a Bulls fan and saying that. But
sounds like his buddy's not really a Bulls fan, or his cousin.
In naming him Grayson?
No way. No way. Not if it was recent. Grayson Allen just lit up the Bulls in the playoffs. For me, it's a nickname. I'm not actually sure if the person hates this, but we've kept using it. Probably like a decade ago, we had a bachelor party, and one of our friends just detached from the group late at night. Didn't see him until the next morning when he told us he went to a strip club by himself and spent $550.
Whoa.
So we've called him 550 ever since then. To this very day, if you see 550 just out and about in any environment, take a picture, send it along. 550, you'll love it. Awesome, dude. Yeah, it was a great night. That's my 550 impersonation. You guys have met him. You guys have met him.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a terrible showing at a Toronto pickup game we went to once. I had one big old boy who was scoring buckets left and right, and one big old boy who was hitting shots off the side of the glass.
Ooh, that does sound vaguely familiar.
He likes to party.
He's a great hang. That's a
good guy.
550.
That's a fun nickname. 550.
I like how precise that dollar figure is.
550 exactly.
Yeah. He's only getting hundreds out of the ATM at the strip club, so he had to get change.
Yeah.
What do you got? Anything here? Good, or a nickname story, I guess we're looking for?
Well, I was never nicknamed myself Tassie. The Tassie thing came from, just reminded me, watching or looking at our old pizza MVP table. Lee gave it to me
for sure.
once upon a time, and it stuck.
Yeah.
I didn't love it at first, but yeah, it stuck. It's decent. I don't hate it. But now Jerome is going to have to give me a new nickname.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll see in a couple weeks when he comes down.
Am I like making this up in my head, or like your daughter at one point was calling you Tassie for like a week?
For sure.
Which is so cute.
For sure.
It's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's Lee's move though. Just add a Y to everybody's name.
That's
Skeetsy and stuff like that.
Right.
I have a good story about this, and it actually, like, I was reminded of it recently. I think it was Russ Bankston on Twitter, and nowhere tweeted, "From now on, I'm going to only call Luke Kennard Nard Dog." And then people started adding us because we've been calling Luke Kennard Nard Dog for a while, and so it's like, oh yeah, we've been saying that for a while. And I replied to him, it's like, oh yeah, Nard Dog. That nickname's been in my life for like 25 years because I went to school with a guy named Lingard that we called Nard Dog. And then somebody responded to me, and I had never thought about it. So we call a guy named Lingard Nard Dog, and they said, why didn't you call him Guard Dog? And I was like, Jesus, I don't know. And I had no answer for it. I had never even thought about it in 25 years. It's Guard, Lingard. Why wouldn't we call him Guard Dog, not Nard Dog?
I'm willing to guess that when the nickname was created, it was in the era where nards was a funny word to say.
I guess so. I mean, we called him Nardo for sure. Like that was
Nards.
a version of it, but yeah. I know.
Yeah, people don't call your nuts nards as much anymore these days. I think it's fallen out of favor somehow.
Yeah. I think if you
Yeah, right in the nards.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah, I think if you Google it and you see the usage over time, it's probably dropped off.
Think so?
Yeah.
You think if I
Word
check?
trends.
Yeah, I'm talking. This is
Peak.
high school, so like mid to late 90s.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what.
Nard would have been
Nards,
Yeah.
big time.
peak
Gone.
nard
Now
on
it's
the Google
gone.
search.
Peak nerd.
Okay. Let's go to our next one here. G'day, Dunkaroos. In a league of giants, everyone is too small now. Giannis called Ben Simmons too small. Even Tyler Hero, who I believe is 45 centimeters tall, it's a weird thing to put in an email, was calling his opponents too small. The gesture is everywhere. We've seen other celebrations go around the league, all the way back to the glorious summer of the big balls dance, or as we liked it to call it, the Nard Shuffle. I added that.
Big nerd shuffle.
My question to you is this. What's the next celebration that's going to take off around the league? Too small, rock the baby, big balls. That's from James Coley. So yeah, I mean, everybody is doing too small. It's
Yeah,
very,
definitely.
very popular. I like it.
Oh, totally.
That's
yeah.
great.
I think it's funny both ways. I think it's funny when a guy who's bigger than the smaller guy says you're too small. Factual. And then also funny when the guy who's smaller says the big guy's too small.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
Yeah.
So I like it both ways. It's hard to figure out what celebration is going to be cool. Kids have to come up with it, right? Like, it has to be a young person.
Sure.
So I asked my kids, what do kids do to celebrate when something good happens at your
God.
school? And they just, Isla goes, Femi got awarded something, and he just went, so that's a potential one.
Femi. Nickname or real name? That's a cool name.
I believe it's a nickname, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's can't miss. I think that'll translate.
So it's either that or this clip I saw over the summer of people shooting 3-pointers down at the park and holding the follow through to put your arm around a guy's shoulders.
I love this.
It's so funny. Oh, and you would get so mad if somebody did this.
So
Get off me,
disrespectful.
man.
It's
Get
so
off me.
disrespectful, but it's so funny. There you
Just
go.
cuddle up next to him.
Yeah, like you said, Trae Young doing that, of course.
Exactly.
You could see him doing that.
Yeah.
You could see LaMelo Ball doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Guys
good.
like that, yeah.
I hope that catches on. And yeah, there would be some pushing going on. Some
There'd be
NBA
some
fights.
shoving, yeah. Yeah, the only downside from that is that you need a defender right in front of you. Mm-hmm. And it's got to be like a long shot. Like you're not layup doesn't
No, it's
really
got,
work.
yeah, got to be a 3, really.
It's got to be a 3, and
Because
it's
guys
got
turns around to sort of see the ball.
yeah. That's gonna start some fights, but it's too good. It is really, really good.
Do you have any other ones, celebrations you'd like to hopefully see somebody try out? Maybe it's Femi.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I was gonna go with. That was my It's funny because every child does that, so you gotta roll with it.
All right. Let's hear from everybody out there. That's a fun question for you guys to chime in there in the stream team. People are saying, just give him a hug. Sure, that's sort of what the person is doing, putting his arm around him. All right, final one. Hey, Dunkachinos. The other day, my wife suddenly realized there was something I did that annoyed her. She could never put her finger on it in the past. But as it happened, she recognized that apparently I only opened doors far enough for me to go through. I can only imagine the great relief that coursed through her body as years of tension released upon understanding this dark secret. The tension instantly returned when she had to open the door another few inches. But we discussed it, and I apologized for my efficient door and muscle usage. So what is something crazy that your wives, family, or friends have complained about that you unconsciously do? Upturn, guys you love, some awe. This, get ready everybody, come on back JD, is from Brent Ferrari. Vroom vroom. So good question from Brent.
It's great. I saved this one for a while because
Did you?
I loved it.
Been sitting on this one.
I've been sitting on it. Yeah, I you do that from time to time, right? Where you don't whip a door open, and you just I do it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I probably do it. I don't
Yeah.
even realize I do it probably.
Ju-
But
just enough so I can slip in. Sure. I mean, it's a little exhilarating. Am I going to get hit by the door?
Oh, yeah,
like if
yeah.
it's a-
So you mean a door that closes on itself?
If it's a heavy
Sure.
door. If it's a heavy
Yep.
door, yeah. Can I beat it? Oh, it's so fun. I did like this email. Very, very good. So I asked my wife if only I could show you the scripture that she sent back with things that I do that she hates.
So you got a
So
book.
a couple. I think yesterday she banged her ankle on the open dishwasher. That I always leave the dishwasher open because there's always more dishes to come.
Yeah.
It's always more dishes.
Yeah,
She's
dangerous,
like, just
yeah.
get it over with. Just close it. You have a child come by. Might take a head off. Yeah, fine. So there was that one. What was the other one? She said before dinner she wants the kids to eat, I guess, at dinner. So she hates when I go off into the pantry and I'm snacking pre-dinner, and because it's
Setting a bad example, sort of?
Yeah,
Like-
snacking in the pantry is our fun post-dinner thing.
Snacking in the Pantry sounds like
Snacking in
a
the
great song
Yeah,
by Alan Jackson.
yeah.
Yeah, first he came out with tubing on the hooch.
Now he's snacking in the Pantry.
Snacking in the pantry.
Okay, it's a good one.
I saw this yesterday. Tim McGraw, speaking of country singers, his dad, Tug McGraw, played in Major League Baseball for like a decade. I didn't know that.
Really?
He's like
I didn't
an
know
all-star. Tug.
Is he a closer, maybe? Tug? Old
I don't
Tuggy?
know. I'm not. What was he tugging on? I don't know. Tugging on the rosin bag, I guess. I don't know. But
Tug and Tim.
Tug.
Are the McGraws coming over, or Tug and Tim coming by later?
Tug and Tim.
Anyways,
Okay.
born Frank, nicknamed Tug. Played in the league for a long time. Yeah, I didn't
It's
know.
a good nickname story. You could have used that for that one.
Yeah, but why is he nicknamed Tug?
It could be a million reasons.
What do you think it is? Because we'll find out
Something
right
to do
now.
with his dick.
Interesting.
Got caught jerking off
well,
at the wrong
hello.
time. Tugging at the wrong time. Hey, that's Tug from now on.
McGraw got the nickname Tug from his mother, actually.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, because of the particularly aggressive way he breastfed. I'm not making this up. Jeez.
Tugging on the
Tug.
tit.
Tug, it's a little too much, Tug.
That's too much for that guy.
Tug.
He's been known as Tug his whole life.
TMI from mom, if we're
life.
being honest.
You think she added that to the Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
I gotta make sure people know.
Okay. Good
Tug.
answers.
Rest in peace, Tug.
What do you have for this, Trey? What's something you do, or maybe Laura, your wife, or family friends complain about that you probably do unconsciously that drives them crazy?
Yeah, I also asked Laura, and it took her 0 seconds to respond. Clicking your teeth while you fall asleep.
Oh,
I was like, what? She said, she's like, I could tell when you're falling asleep because you start going,
oh my God.
and then you start breathing really heavy. I was like, oh boy, I guess I'll never fall asleep for the rest of my life. Clicking my teeth, sleeping like this from now on.
The chompers working overtime.
Wow, that's a crazy sound. Do it again.
Hold on, let me get tired.
Wow, I hope that's coming through in your cans, all you podcast listeners.
Shadow in the teeth.
Yeah, good answers.
Great
I mean,
answer.
you guys probably would even agree with my wife Nora on this one. What I do is I hear a song on the radio. Trey plays it on his computer before the show, wherever. I absorb a song, and then I will recite, not the entire song, of course, just like 1 or 2 lyrics of that song all day long. And I don't even know I'm doing it. And it drives Nora insane. Like, I get told all the time, like, stop it. And like
it.
I think I should be allowed to do it like 3 or 4 times and then be told to stop it, but she'll now, like, the first time she knows it's going to be
knows
like
it's
700 times. Yeah. It could be any song, but I do that. And yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Thriller yesterday?
Thriller I was doing, yeah, because of you as the meat man. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't even have to be lyrics. I'll
No.
just hum a little bass line every once in a while. JD, you got an answer to this one?
Yeah, Brent, first of all, way to throw a grenade into my morning here because, I asked Rachel, is there anything I do that unconsciously?
Right.
She had to think about it. And then she came up with it, and then it just turned into a thing, right? Because I'm like, what?
Okay, what is it?
So the thing is that I do is I will, when I'm sitting on the couch, I will set whatever I'm drinking on the cushion next to me,
Oh, okay.
like unattended.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not unconscious. It's a calculated risk. And that was not the thing to say. But because Lincoln does it too, apparently. And any kind of glass, like stemware, like I'll put a glass of red wine on the
slightest movement. That
I know, but I like the challenge of it. And
I assume you have a coffee table or like a side table
literally right
in
in front of me.
Yeah.
But I like having it next to me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you were then arguing about it all morning. Your wife left you?
Well, she luckily pickleball started, so she left. So.
Cool. All right, great questions, guys. Got us off on some fun tangents there. Send them in. Can be NBA related or not, as you can tell, to nodunks@theathletic.com or tweet them in at @NoDunksInc. We'll take our final break, and when we come back, pick 'em results and tweet of the night.
So it was HOCO this past weekend.
HOCO.
What? At Lincoln School. That's what the kids are calling homecoming these days.
Oh my God.
HOCO. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
HOCO. I don't know.
It's
HOCO.
okay. It's fine.
It's fine. That's how Lincoln posted pictures from it, and he used the tag HOCO. It's like, all right, HOCO. Anyways, it was time for me to step up and be a dad for once and buy my son a suit.
Woo!
So yeah, normally I don't mind performing my fatherly duties, but suits, definitely not my thing. Way out of my comfort zone. I have to Google how to tie a tie every time I tie a tie. Anyways, I was immediately overwhelmed, kind of freaking out, so I started Googling best places to buy a suit in Atlanta, and then I realized in my panic, we're probably going to have to leave the house. But then it hit me. Indochino.com, baby.
Yeah.
That's how stressed I was about this. I forgot about one of the OGs of ad partners for us. So I just tossed Link in my iPad and said, go to Indochino.com and buy yourself a suit. Boom. My work is done here. Dad achievement unlocked. All I really had to do was break out the measuring tape and jot down his stats. The rest was up to Lincoln. And he had some decisions to make. Color, favorite fabric, favorite style, how do you want those lapels, vest or no vest, make it a tux? Oh, you know he clicked that box. And luckily, he knew what he wanted going in, a black suit, burgundy shirt, and no tie, yes. He could have got it monogrammed, but decided against it because, frankly, that suit's going to be Jack's in about 6 months, let's be honest.
Oh, right. Pass me down.
Yeah, the kid's 6'2", he's still growing, and it does not care about basketball. It's very, very sad. But for now, the suit looks fantastic on Lincoln. There's really nothing like having a tailored suit. So design your perfect suit with Indochino and get $50 off any purchase of $3.99 or more. You bet your ass we use that promo code NODUNKS. That's promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. Indochino.com. Promo code NODUNKS.
All right, back with the boys here in the Classic Factory. Tasks starting the month of November in style when it comes to last night's pick'em game. Warriors were favorites on the road in Miami by 1.5 points. Small line, but the Heat, they obviously cover because they won. So that's a win for Tass. He's 1-0 in November. Trey and I took the L. What's tonight's game? There's 11 on, baby.
Classic Wednesday night sked and some real good ones. As we mentioned, Trae Young visiting MSG, the 6-2 Jazz visiting Luka, the Grizzlies and the Blazers. The second game on ESPN, Anthony Davis hosting his old team. Pelicans going against the Lakers. But I'm going with the first game on ESPN because we had a doozy on Friday night, if you remember, between Boston and Cleveland. 2 40-point performances from the Cavs and LeVert and Donovan. So let's do it again.
Wow.
This time the Cavs at home instead of in Boston, and they get a 1.5 points. So you're basically picking the winner. Skeets and myself think Boston will get a little revenge. Yeah,
Yep.
I tend to think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here.
It's a good team.
But, man, Cavs, man.
Trey's
Jeez.
got the Cavs.
Who's Kevin Love going to hit, like 8 threes?
Yeah, we'll see.
About Dean Wade? Did Dean tell you that?
Darius Garland looking
Oh, yeah,
good.
not playing, though, right? He's in practice, I think.
He has been playing and seems ready to go in practice, but I don't think he's got the go-ahead quite yet.
Okay.
With the eye injury.
All right, so Trey has Cleveland. Same line as last night, the home dog there, plus 1.5. Tess
Right.
and I have the Celtics. Good luck to everybody. Really only good luck to Boston and to you and me. No good luck to you.
Right back at you.
I don't need it.
Oh, damn. You feeling that good about this?
Well, I got 1.5 points to play with. Good luck to Boston winning by exactly 1.
1 point. That's right. Okay, let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Garland's stat is still up in the air.
Wow.
Just check theathletic.com. Great update. Thank you for that. All right, time for Tweet of the Night. It was actually causing a little bit of a stir here in the Classic Factory yesterday. This tweet of the Mavs' new mascot, the Mavs Man. What is this thing?
Wow. Showing it to everybody here on YouTube, of course.
Yeah, Mavs Off Court tweeted this Power Ranger, basically. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly like a Power Ranger. It's got some old the Brooklyn Knight vibes, if you remember the Brooklyn Knight from a decade ago or so. You know, it's got the sort of the metal helmet.
Yeah, superhero
look, but not that super, you know. I guess he's got a bigger helmet than the other Power Rangers. Nice little Photoshop here. Mavs Moneyball, or what Mavs Man we're calling him, right?
His name is Mavs Man because there used to be a Mavs Man that was even, well, creepier for sure. There he is. That's him on the left. The OG Mavs Man.
Yeah, there's the Brooklyn Knight in the middle.
Yeah.
TBD, who's going to win this battle?
What I was really, I like to think I have my finger on the pulse of what's happening in the NBA.
Okay.
But this, I don't know, slipped by everybody, or at least it slipped by us here in the Classic Factory. This was announced in,
October,
at least a
right?
week ago.
Oh, I thought it was longer.
And no, and it's it's on the Dallas Mavericks official site. It's there. I went and checked. There's the new Mavs Man, his little backstory, his stats, which is really weird. But why? What? I guess they were I don't know. Did they just release? They were all right, we're doing a new Mavs Man, and then they're okay, just put it out there and see if anybody notices.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're just trying to rebrand him because they talk about him being around since 1996. Back when he was basketball Mavs Man.
Yeah.
Covered in basketball print. So yeah, they're just trying to sneak him in here. They're just trying to sneak Mavs Man into his new costume. I think it's hilarious he's wearing shorts. It's very funny to me that he's wearing shorts.
Yeah. Oh, and basketball shoes too.
Yeah, he's a hooper, man.
He's got Jordans on, no doubt.
Yeah, he's got Jordans on.
13s.
But you're a superhero. Yeah. Top to bottom, you should be a superhero. Superhero boots, like Iron Man boots, I think.
Yeah. And I saw somebody in the stream team, hey, what? I thought they had a horse for their mascot. They do. That's Champ.
Yeah.
It's one of these organizations that has two mascots. You got Champ, the horse mascot, and you've had Mavs Man for a long time. He's the high-flying guy. He's doing all the dunks.
Jumps and cool things.
Really, I hadn't really ever realized until I was looking at a recent photo of the old Mavs Man. It's got the human eyes. Because it's obviously, hey, spoiler, it's a human inside the costume. But you got the human eyes coming through the mask of the OG Mavs Man. That's why I think they put a helmet on him. Because I think he was probably creeping out kids and stuff.
Yeah.
and adults like myself.
Yeah, they're going the route of the Cavs as well, who have a man mascot.
Yes.
just
mascot.
Yeah, trying to.
Because I think they like to have lovable, goofy, big mascot. And then, hey, it'd be great if we could throwing down some dunks and doing some flips
mascot.
and acrobatic things. So we need the other version too.
Yeah,
right?
and do the things that a mascot can't do. Like,
not in a 100-pound suit. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe attend some functions just more as a man. You got to think of everything. So yeah, they're really trying to connect with the regular Joe Schmo out there that doesn't like superheroes, or doesn't like mascots.
There's a full comic on here.
Yeah.
On the Mavs website.
How he came, how he morphed into this Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Yeah.
I mean, you're going from Mavs kid, an actual kid with actual skin, to touching a glowing orange basketball, which turned him into basketball Mavs Man.
Oh.
And then he finds a glowing blue basketball, which turns him into blue Mavs Man. This is the full saga here.
Oh,
so
cool.
blue balls turned the OG Mavs Man into this Mavs Man. What a story.
We got to do a reading of this.
A dramatic reading of the Mavs Man origin story.
Good idea.
Coming soon to YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. Put it in the notes. All right, let's hear your thoughts on Mavs Man, the new edition, Mavs Man 2.0. Slick and fast.
Yeah, you know your mascots. You just when you've got your finger on the pulse.
I thought I did. That's what I'm saying. I thought I did, Tass. I thought I was the Zach Lowe of it all. Knowing the courts, knowing the colors, knowing the mascots,
right.
knowing the league pass teams. But this, I didn't know until I saw this tweet going around. I think SB Nation wrote a story on it. Like, what the hell? I thought it was fake. I thought it was like a joke at first. But nope. It's a new Mavs Man.
And it was in October that it was released that Rocky, the Nuggets mascot, is the highest paid mascot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's hilarious. It is so funny.
All the mascot news these days.
we know the salaries. Harry the Hawk was second.
Wow.
And then a huge drop off.
Yeah.
That's the Raptors basically making like 5 digits, apparently.
Yeah.
According
Mascots
to this.
aren't underpaid.
That's
Unless they get to keep the costume.
So Rocky's
That is
making
fair.
6 digits. Like, he's not making a mill.
No, but there's a huge drop. 625,000. Harry the Hawk makes 600K.
Holy crap.
Well paid.
Those are 2 of the best mascots in the game, Rocky and Harry, for
and
sure.
some would say Benny the Bull, who's third on this list, is
100%.
the best one.
100%.
400K, so we're dropping off. 200K goes to the Gorilla in Phoenix.
Okay.
5th is Hugo the Hornet with 100K. We're dropping off
Oh,
here.
wow,
We're
wow,
falling
wow,
off
wow.
big time.
We're just-
Yeah, and so after 5, I don't have the list. I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's it. I guess there's just only 5. The rest do it for the love of the game.
for the for
The love of the dance.
yeah, love of the costume, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Love of the crowd, yeah, love of the game. Why do you do it, mascots? What's your reason? You in it for the money?
Why do you do it?
Are you in it for the smiles you put on those young kids' faces out there?
It would be the money for me.
That's a tough job.
Yeah.
This guy, those men and women, because I don't know who's under there. Mavs Man. I guess it's a man. But I will say they are underpaid drastically to be a good mascot.
Yeah.
Some of the shitty
bad
ones,
ones,
like, yeah,
you're getting
they-
your money
They
worth.
don't do anything.
Yeah, but then it's like 41 days a year. Pretty.
No, a lot of appearances.
Oh,
Tess.
I know.
A lot of appearances.
We can book an appearance right now with Mavs Man.
Get him in
How
here.
much?
Get him in here.
How much we talking?
Doesn't say. Does not say. But if we have a glowing basketball, he'll find his way here either way.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Weigh in on Mavs Man. Weigh in your favorite mascot. Let's hear from you guys in the stream team as you are right now, or in the YouTube comments below, or tweet them in at NoDunksInc. Let's call it there. No Is This Good podcast today. That's coming tomorrow, and you're gonna have to go search for the Is This Good separate YouTube feed and podcast feed. Matteo has spun that off. Big guest coming on tomorrow's show. And Trey Kirby. You're not.
I'm not the big guest.
No,
I'm
I don't want to say any more because I don't want something to happen and it falls through. But big guest lined up for Is This Good tomorrow. So go, if you haven't already, subscribe to Is This Good on YouTube and wherever you download and listen to your podcasts. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, live from the Classic Factory, to talk about all these games on tonight and all the NBA news. And then later tomorrow, we'll be talking a little Survivor over on No Buff's YouTube and podcast feeds with a new episode tonight. A lot of content to consume tonight. So much so, in fact, that we're not even playing in the return of our Wednesday night pickup runs.
Too bad.
Yeah, next week. We'll get out there next week.
Yeah, I mean, I have off-court issues that are preventing me from playing tonight.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Been tugging a little too much, McGraw?
Yeah, let's just say we're not saying nards as much these days.
On that note, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
To go from that to this, thanks for joining us. And remember, this is a serious one. The guard with the most blocks per game in a season. Anybody?
John Wall?
Michael Jordan?
Yeah, it's Michael.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Michael. 1.6. Yeah, we're including point guards and guards.
Okay.
Most for a career, like an average for a career for a guard throughout the history of the NBA, never hit 1 block per game for a career. There hasn't been a guard who's hit 1 block per game. Just below
Whoa.
for a career. Who's been the highest?
Wade?
No.
Jordan as well. Yeah.
This guy's good, man. This guy is good.
0.9, although Wade had 0.8 for his career.
There you go.
There you go.
A little fact for you. Embrace the day, people.